Hey, it's Soul with another video. Today I'm going to talk about housing, but I'm not exactly trying to talk to the regular housing audience. Although I do encourage everyone to hang with me for a bit as I appeal to you and to try and spread the word and try to talk to Blizzard directly, and try to insist on what the housing team ought to make a bigger or at least a more visible priority, and that is to add the feature of displaying transmog, the weapons and armor we've earned in the game as decor. Please like the video, subscribe for more stuff, catch me live, and please hear me out. So in my observation, and I've observed a lot about housing, there's a particular audience who's been underserved because transmog hasn't been converted into decor. This kind of player probably isn't interested in kit bashing a modern stove or creating this multi-level apartment kind of doohickey for their warband. So the more recent article that announced new features, it probably didn't land very well with them, except for maybe displaying pets, which is pretty cool. I'm oversimplifying for the sake of argument, but today's WoW housing, it highlights creativity above everything else. Now, I'm not saying that's a negative either, because until housing, our creativity was limited to just our character's appearance, their name, their mount, and so on and so forth. And again, I'm oversimplifying here, but the past few months have been a journey into like maybe millions of players carving out their own slice of the world of Warcraft. Relative to the total amount of decor available, a handful of that stuff, they signal our past accomplishments, like defeating Onyxia, or completing a whole ton of achievements in a given expansion, or we would complete a quest that awards a chair or a shelf, which is, epic. Meanwhile, it feels like we're sitting on thousands of potential decor that we technically have already, but has yet to be activated. And for some, that's gotta feel frustrating. I truly believe I'm right when I say there are gamers out there who couldn't care less for housing, as in, a house, but they would love to take their favoriteest and most memorable weapons and armor they farm for however long and display it in the pose or the array of their choosing. That's where I'm trying to make a distinction. There's an audience out there who isn't into cozy spaces, but more like into monuments to their ego, which takes us back to like the earliest days of feeling accomplished in the video games. Now, I absolutely love the housing we have today, and I'm happy to love things that are still imperfect and incomplete. But in the many years I've spent preaching for this kind of feature, I've wanted both the creativity and the past collections present at once. I want to create my own little World of Warcraft and fill it up with shields. It's cool to take our achievement UI and to bring that to life. Now, I want to do the same with the rest of my collections too. Like, imagine what should be possible now. Like, there are folks out there who've collected every single legendary weapon in the game, and someone is going to arrange them in such a way that they would be surrounding Atiesh to really bring home the fact that they got everything. Now, how many folks are also going to use Thunder Fury as a toilet lever? Or how many homes are going to, how many homes will I visit that feature a whole, like an Iron Throne kind of thing? And then I'm like standing there trying to identify all the weapons used. That'd be a lot of fun. Now, all that would be, it'd be cool, it'd be hilarious, it'd be both. But the takeaway that I want to underline is how our existing collections of transmog, they can serve as the perfect gateway for getting folks into housing when today it might not seem so appealing to those folks to get a new rug or to have more space to put more bookcases. The creations from players, they're hugely creative, and they redefine the way we look at this game. But imagine the nostalgia hits when you hang up that one weapon, or armor set, or some custom transmog. 20 years later, a lot of people have a Thunder Fury, and it might get hung up with the rest of the legendaries they earned by farming stuff over and over and over again, but you might have it as a centerpiece because there's a very cool story behind it that's yours, like you got it when it was current and you had to go through all this stuff to get it. Someone else might have a plain looking weapon that still happens to hold a sentimental value, and with housing we should be able to show off how much that means to us. Like, you bring people in, you're like, hey, look what I got, I have this thing, and people are like, what are you talking about? So, well, let me tell you a story. I've also seen a few monuments to friends using the existing decor. Now, with that alone, our absent friends can live forever. But how about we dress up a transmog dummy or silhouette or whatever with their signature appearance? Now they have that certain identity, and that would, that's a lot of what I'm getting at. Letting us tap into our collections means possibly bringing up all that nostalgia. It taps into this emotional well that the current offerings don't quite do. I think some players would be delighted being able to play with those pieces to really celebrate their career in this game. Now, of course, let's be fair. We pretty much know the display of transmog. We know it's coming. Like, it was hinted in some interview a while back. I never found it before this recording, so I'm sorry. And we have seen plenty of references to weapon and armor appearances from the initial preview to the Argentina that we can see in game now. The question is just when. And the most previous writer from Blizzard didn't say a damn thing about transmog appearances. At the moment, it sends the message that housing will continue to develop more on the creative side, like tools and quality of life, over collections. Although, yes, pets are coming and pets are really, really cool. I bet there are massive challenges to implementing transmog as decor, and that challenge scales with the thousands upon thousands of appearances. And so maybe that's why they're not even talking about it. But this video here is just to raise a little bit of that urgency and just to kind of get people talking about it a little bit. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of housing, and I won a thing the other week, so that's got to lend something to my voice, so I might as well use it. Tapping into more of our collections, it's like the missing pillar. To me, it's like a big old slice cut out from the cake that is housing. It's still good, and I just want the rest. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.